want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Colette. That's me. Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon.
Rise and shine up and at 'em. It's a brand new day. We have now entered into Friday. It is January the 5th, and baby, it's cold outside. Can I just tell you? So, however you are reaching us this morning, it is our prayer that you are warm, that you are in a space where you are safe, where you are warm, where you have covering. If you're fortunate to have something to drink, a little beverage, water, whatever the case may be, that you are right now where you're supposed to be to have the conversations that you're supposed to have. You're officially tuned in to Coffee and Conversation with Colette, and I'm Colette. And you all know I do my curtsy because that's what I do. That's my sign of reverence to you because I know that you could be anywhere, doing anything, watching anything, any other show. But you're conscious enough that you make the decision to tune into WHPR TV 33, or whether it's on Comcast 91, or streaming live, or our app, or however, you made the decision to be here. And so we don't take that for granted. It is our Friday time together. It's, part of the Freestyle Friday. We're going to have an open dialogue. Normally, we get a little intense from 7 to 8, and then we kind of flow a little differently from 8 to 9. But literally, you set the tone because it's the way that we converse. Because the ultimate goal is what? To educate, enlighten, and empower. And so at the end of the day, we know that we've gone through a lot, but we're in this together. What's that George Benson song? We're in this love together. We got a love that'll last forever. I mean, that's what you got to know. I'm not going anywhere. So whatever you say, whatever you do, I'm not going anywhere. I made the conscious decision a long time ago that, you got me. Now I'm doing my Erykah Badu root song. It doesn't matter what's going on. You got me. Because I know that we need each other to get through. And I want us to do more than get through. I want us to be able to live. And I want us to learn how to live in abundance. Not just live for the weekend, not just survive, but to live a life of full expectation and abundance. Excuse me. And I'm going to handle this cold thing, okay? So it was this bronchial. Let me just say, because you all are so kind, lines are lit, I see. Let me give you the call-in numbers if you don't have them. 313-868-0342. 313-868-0351. 313-868-4336. And thank you so much for everyone who has reached out. You're asking me. I went to the doctor. They said that it's an issue of bronchitis, whatever that is. What you didn't know is I was born 3 months premature. So my left side, in almost its entirety, wasn't fully developed. Is that horrific? And look at me now. But at that time, it wasn't developed. So there you go. I mean, it happens. But of course, through God's continued grace and mercy in my life, I am here. And so sometimes when you get older, my immune system is a little sensitive. So everything is happening in the universe, particles, pollutants, anything in the universe. And so I believe that it's having some impact on me. And so I made the conscious decision when I went to the doctor, and they said, yes, it was some bronchial things. And then they wanted to give me these steroids, and then some asthma things. And they wanted to give me this inhaler. And hear me. And again, remember now, and I'm thankful for doctors. I am thankful for their expertise in these fields of medicine. But their goal is to manage. And I understand that. And so when you get prescriptions or you are prescribed things, you should always read. And that's going to really carry us through every aspect of these conversations today. You should read because as much as they say things are so great for you and this is what the outcome is going to be, there's side effects, okay? And so for the asthma inhaler, the side effect is a cough. Doesn't that seem like that's a contradiction? And maybe I should. A friend of mine was like, Colette, you read too much into everything. And I'm like, but if I'm already coughing and then I have the inhaler and that side effect is going to be a cough, doesn't that defeat the purpose? But suffice to say, I did not go to medical school, and so I'm going to go back to the doctor today because I still want to know. But then So I'm on this water, this in this mess. Now I know this is not where we're going, but I'm just sharing it with y'all because a lot of times we need to relate. So I'm on this lisinopril, right? So it's supposed to be for blood pressure, and my alleged blood pressure, because I'm not claiming that, was based on stresses. Right, so that was last year's stresses, dynamics, not, and so that's why I can talk to you the way that I talk to you, because I don't want you to live in the space of that inner turmoil and not being able to manage life around you to the best of your ability. So then you have to have these medicaments to help you get through it, right? So they give me this lisinopril, and it's the lowest dose, and it's supposed to help reduce the water and all those things. But I exercise, so the component was, well, Colette, when you exercise, it makes your blood pressure go up, so you can't exercise. I'm like, but that's how I manage my stresses. So then you tell me I can't, but then you give me this medicine, and then, ha! But a side effect of that is a cough. So, so I'm just saying, a lot of times we have all these symptoms, but you got to get to the real issue. So I'm not trying to say that, again, it's not warranted to go, and I'm going to go, and I encourage all of you. Sean, I know he's dealing with a cough and some stuff too. So I'm just saying, all of us, we work through it. We're not trying to self-medicate, but you got to just try to understand the time and environment that we're in. And I say that to you today. So maybe that's a perfect intro to where we're going to go today. Right? So yesterday we really didn't get to the crux of yesterday because it turned into, I believe, a affirmation segment, which I got texts afterwards that a lot of people really weren't comfortable with. Because I got the response, well, Colette, that's not realistic. Well, Colette, and so my position, if I recall the conversations yesterday, was, as a man thinketh, so is he. You are who you think you are. It's just that simple. And so we had several callers who called in to affirm that. And the whole truth of the matter is that if we can't get ourselves together individually, we cannot be better as a community. I can't sit and come and talk to you about what you should actively be doing in your lives if the truth is I don't do that in my life. That's like the clip you saw. We listened to Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he said that's like putting the old you self in a new car and new clothes. All you do is dress it up, but it's the same outcome because you'll consistently do the same things. And so I'm asking us to continue the conversation today and to say, okay, if we are not conscious of who we are, then we'll continuously have these same expectations to the issues that are still the same right now in 2018, 5 days into 2018, that we had at 2017. And our outcomes will be the same because we'll still have the conversation that holds everybody else accountable. We'll still have the conversation that says, oh, it's someone else's fault. But at the end of the day, if everyone is showing us who they are and they haven't changed and they're not going to change, then the only entity that can change is you. And so maybe that's our problem in and of itself, is that until we are honest in dealing in our truths, we can't create a positive change that will effectuate something different for us. And so it's very serious for me right now. It's very serious because I don't want us to have these conversations week in and week out. And the truth is, we're all just regurgitating what we talked about in 2017. And so I'm asking us today, like, this is our truth time. And all the lines are lit, and I'm going to get to everyone today. And you're going to have your time. Because I really want us to understand where we are. And what we're passionate about. Because a lot of times we talk, we have a great talk, a great conversation. And I get it that if that is just your platform. So if our platform is just that of conversation, we should all be clear about that and say, you know what? I just want to talk about it. I don't want to put any action towards it. I don't want to change the outcome. I don't want to make it either better than what it is or to put something in the equation that's going to change the narrative. I really don't want to do that. I just want to talk about it. And so if indeed that is where you are, I really want you to tell us, because then it shapes where we go with the conversations that we have every week. So then I won't be frustrated because I'm saying to you that greater is you, it's in you, that it's getting away from the fear that's in you, that you can do all things, that it's the inner man, it's the strength and how you attach yourself to the world. So then I won't say that to you. I'll say that, okay, for where you are right now, all you want to do is dream about a better life And so maybe you just believe that it's going to be better when you die. You know, those of us who grew up in the Baptist church, it was on the by and by. So you just go through the troubles of this old world. And when you then transition out of this life form, then that's when it's going to be great. And then that's when you're going to be in your glory. So everything that you just have to deal with right now, you just have to deal with it because that is your lot in life. And if indeed you believe that's who you are and that it will be better for you at some point, someplace else, outside of you actively taking a position where you are to change it, then so be it. And then there's some of you who will say, well, Colette, and then you'll give me all this information and all these statistics about who everybody is and how then they use all that to oppress you. But the truth is you then fall into and believe that oppression. So you believe who they say you are and you believe how they treat you. Because if you didn't, then your actions would show otherwise. I'm just putting it out there today. That's just really what this is. And I get it. And hear me. Do not believe that I don't understand this world that we live in. I absolutely do. I understand it. I get it. I know that you get it. But the truth is, if you want it to be different, you have to do it. And a lot of us don't want to because we're afraid. We live in fear. And we're waiting for everybody else to change something for us, and they're not. They're only going to change something for themselves. And so everything that we're so passionate about, we don't move on it. So let me give you some examples, and then we're going to go to I got a great clip. So I probably, this is what we're going to do, everyone. I'm going to give you a couple examples. I want you to marinate on that. We're going to go to this great 10-minute clip. Then we're going to go to the lines, okay? So here we go. Everyone was passionate about when the crisis hit in Flint and that people can't live like that. Oh, my goodness, how are we living like that? But to this day, people are still using drinking water in Flint. It hasn't changed. We are passionate about the emergency management laws and how all these municipalities were being stripped of their assets by the governor. And it was a dictatorship versus a democracy, and everyone was so up in arms, and then you don't hear anything about it, and all the assets, especially in smaller cities, have been stripped away, and nothing has changed. And the governor is still sitting in the helm. How's that? We then talked about the school district and all these people misappropriating, and clearly we couldn't find any leadership that was local, and so we go and we find this other leadership someplace else because they're going to make it better for us, and then they bring in, and then the same situation. It's the same. We then talk about the blight in our communities, and we say that downtown is thriving, and it's really a tale of two cities, and everyone knows, but the community, the neighborhoods are still blighted, and everything is still the same. So I just want to know. I mean, do you want me to go on? I can give you, I can keep giving. We can go on and on with the examples. And so if indeed we know all those things to be true, do we just get to a point where it doesn't create a sound bite for us anymore and then we just walk away? So the topic isn't just really hot anymore. So everyone had a chance to rah-rah about Flint, and then it just had a life cycle because the media gave it a life cycle, and then it's not an issue anymore, but the people still in Flint are suffering. Like, if you called up some people in Flint right now, they're still in this situation. But we don't talk about it anymore. But then there's maybe not the action with the conversation. And so I'm just asking you, so what are you trying to do? Like, what do you want this to look like for us going into 2018? Because if we all commit that we're not going to act on it, well, let me just give you another example. So that's just like everyone who's running for office. Everybody wants to have these great conversations about who they will be when they're elected. And my work is going to begin when I'm elected. Well, did anyone have the conversation that maybe you should just do the work now? Because you just do the work because you know it's right, and that's what you're supposed to do if you're committed to what is good for the people. And if indeed your good deeds will show that you are worthy of that election, then you will get it. And if not, then you shouldn't have any issue because you're just being who you say you are. But we don't do that. We sit and then try to create a platform based on what we say everyone else isn't doing, but then we're not doing anything while we're in that space. And then we say, well, once we're elected, we'll change it. So again, like I told you, I commend the young man who's running for the congressional seat. And he had a little, a news bite the other day that he was suing the governor. So whether he actually, whatever that process is, But he knows that it's horrific, and how dare us go without having representation in Washington for 11 months. And everybody else now, because you got seasoned politicians who are running for this seat, and they didn't say anything about it. We have all these political groups who are not up in arms and didn't say anything about it. So we all just sitting there waiting. Well, I mean, what are we waiting for? I don't. And so then it's just okay. And then it's just on the backs of the people. And then we just say, okay, so, or maybe we're just so beat down. So maybe you just want to say, Colette, you know what? We're just so beat down and they beat us and we don't know what else to do because they haven't told us what to do. And so we're just not going to do anything. Is that what it is? And I don't mean to offend anyone this morning. And yes, I could be a little harsher this morning, and that's fine. It's called tough love. Because we're not going to go into 2018 the same way we dealt with 2017. We're just not now. This is going to be a mutually beneficial relationship. I've learned when you're going through things in your life, it's like the law of attraction. You need to always be open to what is my lesson supposed to be. Because there's a lesson. And the quicker you get the lesson, then the quicker you can move through the experience. And then the efforts is that you're not going to make the same decisions that you made before. And a lot of things happen when you don't make decisions. So things are going to happen one way or another. Either you make a decision or you don't make a decision, but then life can still happen. And so I'm going to go into 2018 knowing that I made conscious decisions about who is in my life and that it's going to be mutually beneficial. And if it's not, then it doesn't exist because people will suck you dry. They will drain you of everything and anything that you could possibly give and never fill you back up and still want more. You're like, what's that whole thing? You can't get blood from a turnip? That's the whole thing. And so either we're just going to say that we've been sucked up, the energy of this political cycle, the energy of everyone else's platform, the energy of everyone else's goals, the energy that they have put in taking and stripping us of what we believe is viable to our existence in this community, that all that's been stripped and taken away and we've just been sucked dry. And so if indeed that is where we are right now, how do we go for it? So I want you to tell me. You need to tell me what we do. Because my position is that it is us, that it is you, and it is me, that if we don't get clear about that, then we can't create a viable plan for where we need to go. And we'll just continuously serve as the hamster on the wheel, doing the same thing, having the same conversation until the next issue comes up. And it'll be the same way until the next issue comes up. But there isn't anything that changes. So it goes back to the doctor comparative. The doctor doesn't cure you. The doctor just manages what the illness is. He just assesses the symptoms and then gives you something. And then whatever he gives you is going to create something else. And so you have to continuously deal with the doctor. And so in our lives right now, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, whether it's political, then we're consistently being given things that are managers of it. It's not a solution. It's a manager. It's a management tool to keep you hooked into a system in which there's not an end for it. Because they don't want you to be free. They don't want you to have free thought. They don't want you to live without fear. Because if you live without fear, you can have a free life. It's about choice. You're free to come and go. You're free to do what you want to do. And yes, you understand the laws, but you're free. It's a mindset. You determine what freedom looks like for you. And a lot of times, let me say this, we get it all twisted because we identify our freedoms with tangibles. Oh, well, look at what I'm driving. Look at what I'm wearing. Look at how I'm living. And so you want then someone else to validate your successes based on those things. No. Can I say that again? No. You wake up every morning and you have the use and activity of your limbs and you're able to be grateful in a spirit of gratitude for a new day and a mindset. You are free. You're free. That means your eyes are wide open to see everything that's happening around you. And even though the challenges are existing before you, you are still free. I want to give a great good morning as well to Angela and Jamal Thomas. I've known them 20 plus years, and she is very forthright in what Alzheimer's and dementia is looking like in her family. And so she posts these things, and she posts the challenges that she has. And so I want to encourage you this morning. And if there's anything I can do to help you, I will. I have an auntie, my favorite Aunt Jeanette, that we are in the life cycle of dementia and Alzheimer's with her. And so in the midst of understanding and trying to process that, love is what we have to do, because it's going to be a challenge. They are not who you knew them to be, and all you can do is love them and work to best create a space that you can work to stay whole and healthy in it while you're loving them at this time in their lives. And so maybe the beauty about all of this is that coming full circle, that is about love, but you have to understand to love who you are and that you deserve the best. We deserve the best for ourselves. We deserve the best representation, but the representation doesn't make or break you, because you're the one that makes a decision of who you choose to govern and create laws for you. It's really that simple. But if you don't believe that, you have to believe that you deserve it. You have to believe that the best is for you, not what just someone gives you. And then we have to make decisions and plan accordingly based off what you believe that you deserve. And we have to have the real conversations so that we can make the decisions so that we know how we're going to move. My family together for this holiday, we sat down as a family. Where are we going in 2018? What are our plans? What do we have to address? Real life issues, okay? Things that majority of people of color don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about death. So if you don't want to talk about death, you can't talk about life. I can't live my best life and then be able to say that I'm prepared to die, because I don't talk about death. We don't talk about it. But then there's debt and things that are associated, but no one wants to talk about it. You don't want to talk about life insurance. We want to talk about, oh, why don't you invest in this, that, and the other? Well, you need to clear your debt. Once you clear the debt, then you can invest in things. Do you own the home that you live in? Are you living within your means? Are you working together to be able to create a good life? Those of us who are fortunate to have our parents who are still here, is there a plan of how to help us all as everyone matures? But we don't talk about that, and we know it's inevitable. As surely as you live, you are going to die. But so what? You're just going to wait? So then you're going to wait until people get sick, and then you're going to wait till things happen, and then you don't have a plan because no one did a will, because no one did that, a power of attorney, so we don't have everything, or we get so emotionally attached to it you don't want to hear when people are trying to tell you what's going on with them. And so then something happens and they transition, and then everybody's stuck. No one knows what to do. You want to set up a GoFundMe account because you didn't want to deal with the truths. Do you see how it all works? Give me a topic and it's all gonna work. The truth works in everything. Being true to you works in everything. Any angle, everywhere you wanna go, it works. So let's go to the clip. Everyone, all the lines are lit. Thanks for your patience. Don't go anywhere, I'm gonna get you. I want us to get the clip. I believe we've set the tone this morning, and then we're gonna have the conversation. How's that sound? Let's enjoy the clip.
People should make New Year's resolutions if they're actually watching this video on January 1st. If they're watching it on December 23rd, they should make December 23rd resolutions. Waiting miraculously to when the calendar flips to start making your life better is silly at best and pisses me off at worst. And so whenever you're watching this, because it lives on the internet, and thus that means you could watch this on June 17th, make a resolution every day of your life, because you only get one at bat. The reason people struggle with having a New Year's resolution and sticking to it is because it was a tactic to do a New Year's resolution. Hence why my first answer was right, which is when you actually decide to make a change in your life, whether about weight or job or going out with somebody or relationships, that's when you actually pull it off. It's religion, not tactics.
Statistics show that 95% of the people that actually made a New Year's resolution have already broken it by today. And that's if you even made a resolution. I mean, think about it. Most people don't even make a resolution anymore. Why? because they've made them from years and years and years, and they know they're not going to follow through. So after a while, who wants to disappoint yourself? Who wants to be upset with yourself? Why even bother to set a new standard for this year? You know it's going to be the same as last year. So the question is, what is it that makes us even want to make a resolution? I mean, it's an interesting question. Why is it at the beginning of the year we have this tradition? But it goes beyond tradition. It's something inside of us that makes us want to make things better. And I think part of it is the calendar gives us this idea that we could have a fresh start, that we could start from fresh and have this great victory. Let's use the calendar to serve you today. Let's just see, what does it really take to make this thing happen? Because there's no denying that inside of you, the only thing that's going to make you happy in the year ahead and the decades ahead is going to be having you have an experience where on a regular basis, you feel like your life is making progress. So the secret to real happiness is progress. Progress equals happiness. And if we can make progress on a regular basis, we feel alive. And that's why at the beginning of the year, we get this thing like, okay, I can have this fresh start. I could really do what my soul desires. I could expand. I could grow. I could improve. I could change. Or maybe better than change, I could progress. So if you want to make real progress, then you really got to look at your life in a different way. You got to say, I got to take control of this process and not just hope it's going to work out like people do who make a resolution. Because really, isn't that what they're really doing at the beginning of the year? They're saying, well, here's my resolutions for the year, and they really basically tell you their wishes. It's their wish list. It's what they hope it all comes together. And then they call it a resolution, but they don't know what a resolution is. When you resolve something, to have a resolution is to resolve it. When you've resolved, this is how it's going to be. That's when you cut off any possibility except the thing you've committed to.
Make a resolution every day of your life because you only get one at bat.
Most people, they're stating what they hope will come together, and if it doesn't happen, then they're disappointed, but they're not too disappointed because they're not too vested. What does it take to successfully create a lasting change in your life? To not only have a New Year's resolution you follow through on, but really have a lasting change? Well, the first step for lasting change is very much like making a New Year's resolution. Fundamentally, it's the same. The first step is you got to have a vision for what it is you really, truly want. I mean, what are most people's New Year's resolutions? I'm going to stop eating sugar. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Problem with that is it's not very inspiring for most people. It's not telling you what you're going to get. It's only what you're not going to do. And it's kind of hard to have you move forward with that. A vision is about what you're here to create. A vision that really works is one that excites you. If you say, well, my resolution, my goal, my outcome for this month, this week, this year is to lose X number of pounds, that's okay, but it's not very compelling. It has to be a compelling vision. It's got to have something that has the power to pull you, not something you have to push yourself to do. Those are two different kinds of motivation. Push requires willpower, and willpower never lasts. What will last is pull. Having something so exciting, so attractive, something you desire so much that you have a hard time going to sleep at night and you get so up early in the morning to rock it and take it to the next level. That's what you're looking to create. And that isn't easy to get. And the bottom line of our follow-through comes down to our emotional intensity. You got to have strong enough reasons that you're going to follow through when the going gets tough. They don't have strong enough reasons to push themselves through what's going to be necessary to get that dream, to get that goal, when the inevitable challenges come up, when you're starving, hungry, and you're trying to go on a diet, right? When you got no time and you're stressed out and you haven't worked out still, and that's what you're supposed to do. When the economy gets tight and what you thought you were going to do doesn't work, and so you give up on the goal instead of finding another way to get there. You don't let the fear take you over if you've got strong enough reasons. Reasons come first, answers come second. If you get a compelling vision and you got strong enough reasons that will push you through the tough times, you're going to do things other people don't do. Instead of collapsing, even if you get off target, you won't go, oh, I blew it. You'll get right back on target, make the change, make things happen.
We do our best when our destinations are beyond the measurement, when our reach continually exceeds our grasp, and when we have immortal finish lines. And when we do this, the race is never over. The journey has no port. The adventure never ends, because we are always on the way. So do this, and let somebody else come up and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you scored. Let them run up and tap you on the shoulder and say, man, you won. Let them come tell you, you can go home now. Let them say, I love you too. Let them say, thank you. Take the lid off the man-made roofs that we put above ourselves and always play like an underdog.
When you really get clear and it's compelling and you're reviewing it every day, you've got strong reasons and you're reviewing it every day and you're feeling it, the brain becomes incredibly acute at noticing anything to get you to move forward. You know, what do people do with a New Year's resolution? They come up with something they kind of want. It's not a compelling vision. They don't really have strong enough reasons, and they never review it again until to notice that they broke what they said they really want to have make happen, because they didn't really resolve. If you resolve, you got the vision, it's compelling, you review it daily, and you feel it, you envision it, and you experience it. Simple as it sounds. Now, ultimately, what is this really about? Ultimately, if you're going to have lasting change in anything, you're really talking about just raising your standards. Raise your standards. And what does that mean? Corny as it sounds. Raise your standards. Oh, thank you for the breakthrough thought, Tony. Lasting change is different than a goal. You don't always get your goals, but you always get your standards. But when you decide something is a must for you, an absolute must, when you cut off any possible, you say, I'm going to find the way or I'm going to make the way. Human beings, when they resolve things, when they make a real resolution inside themselves, which is they raise the standard and they make it a must, they find the way. If you said to me, well, I'm really going to work hard to stop smoking, but, you know, I've been a smoker my whole life, and I am a smoker. I know your days are numbered. You're going to be back smoking cigarettes again, because we all act consistent with who we believe we are. I tell people the strongest force in the whole human personality is this need to stay consistent with how we define ourselves. If you define yourself as somebody who is really conservative, you're not going to be crazy and act nuts unless you're really drunk or something, and then you can say it's the alcohol, when it's really just you finally getting permission to be yourself. The alcohol is your excuse. If you're a really crazy person, you act crazy, outrageous, playful. You don't act conservative because that's not who you are. Very often people say, well, I can't do that. I'm not that kind of person. And I always say to people, really, when did you define yourself? I mean, very often we made decisions in our youth or very young about what to believe, about what we were capable of, about who we are as a person, and that becomes the glass ceiling, if you will, that controls us. Willpower doesn't last, but rituals can last a lifetime. I bet you have some rituals in your life right now you've been doing for years, even though some of them don't serve you. I'm just saying, wake yourself up. You want a new year and a new life. You don't need to start on January 1st. Start today. Start with this little video. Listen, how's your new year coming out so far? When did you define yourself? I mean, really, how many years ago did you come up with what you could and couldn't do in your life? How many years ago? Most people, if they really look at how they're living their life today, it's based on a set of standards, a set of beliefs that they made choices about 10, 20, 30 or more years ago.
That was a great clip. I want to thank the Mulligan brothers and the speakers. They compiled the clip, and the speakers in that clip were Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins, and Matthew McConaughey. And so there were some clear takeaways, and I wanted you to be very conscious of what they were. Did you get them? Where did you believe they were to be? I even wrote some down. We all act consistent with who we believe we are. What do you say? From a young age. So if you're told that you're beautiful, if you're told that you're smart, if you're told that you can do anything, then you tend to believe that. If you told that you're second class, if you told that you're unattractive, if you were told your skin's too dark, if you were told your hair's too nappy, if you were told that you would never amount to anything, if you were told that you weren't beautiful, every aspect of you will use that to flow throughout your life in one capacity other another, that you don't deserve it, that you're not good enough for it, that it can never happen for you, it can never be good. And so to the point of the resolutions, every day you make a resolution. I want to be better in this day, in this moment right now. Because the other times when we make these resolutions, how does it work out for us? Or what was the other quote? Rituals last a lifetime. Rituals doesn't mean that they're good for us. We just do them. So, for example, ushering in the new year, what do you have? Black-eyed peas and greens, right? Isn't that something that happens in our communities that's supposed to be for luck and prosperity? Well, how's that working out for us? Because every year we do it, and is it working out for us? Does it bring you luck and prosperity, or does it bring the luck and prosperity to the people who created it because they own the manufacturing of the black-eyed peas and the greens? So they're the ones that are selling you the black-eyed peas and the greens, and they're creating the prosperity off of your ritual. Did you ever wonder why that was created? To give you something to buy into, so you believe that if you use these things, if you eat these foods, then your new year will be different. But I'm the one that's controlling the manufacturing of the food that you're eating, so of course I'm going to get the wealth. Did you get that? Do you need me to give you a couple other points, or you're going to give them to me? It goes back to us, everyone. We don't have to keep playing the games with ourselves. Stop tricking yourself. You don't have to trick yourself. To thine own self be true. That is what our quote is for today. And without a vision, the people will perish. So as we go into 2018, are we truthful? Do we have a vision? Do we understand how we at least are where we are right now, and that we have to do things differently in order to have a different outcome in 2018? I appreciate the opening time that you've given us. Now I'm going to go to the lines. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
How you doing today?
I'm amazing. How are you?
All right. Happy New Year to everyone.
Absolutely. Happy New
We
Year
got
to
to give
you.
a shout out to TV33 Comcast 91
Yes.
WHPR, one of the TV stations that we have here in Metropolitan Detroit that look out for us. Got to give a shout out to R.J. Watkins, Henry Tyler, Mrs. Perryman, Mrs. Colette, Hair Doctor, Moneymaker Diva, Mr. Jones, and all the other staff as part of PD33.
Okay.
Thank you for showing that clip.
Sure.
Thank you for the tool of success that you basically have been talking about this morning. It's not about me fooling you. It's not about you fooling me. It's about me not fooling myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you for putting that out there. Because a lot of times when you start living that, there's people out here that start talking certain things and it just wasn't resonant. There's people out here that you will see that you're not going to mind doing for it, whether they do for you or not.
Absolutely.
You will start living a whole and loving a whole different way.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
And wait, and stay there for a minute. Miles, stay there for a minute, because I really want us to get this. The truth of the matter is that when you know who you are, you resonate that in all the relationships that you have, right? And so when you're comfortable with who you are consistent with how you interact with people. And it makes no difference how they respond to you. It is you being consistent. And so if indeed at any time that relationship, that connection with that person changes, and they're no longer in your spirit, in your space, as a part of your immediate life circle, you will be okay because you knew and you know that you are your best person with them. You were your best person. So you have no regrets, everyone. When you are the best that you can be to people, because it's in sincerity of your intent, and things don't work out, you good. You don't live in regret. I'm just telling you that right now. So all this other stuff about, how they act, it ain't about them. It's about you. If you are who you say you are, if you are true to who you are, You're not going to have any problems. People are going to come and go in your life. Lifetime, reason, season. Everyone is not going to be a full life partner with you, whether as a friend, even in family, even in associates. But for that moment, all of this is about you being who you say you are. Please go ahead, Amal.
Thank you so much, because in your own way, there is concepts that we were talking about, tools of success.
Sure.
They have marinated on you, and you learn how to express it your way. So people who don't open their minds to new concepts, you know how to reach out to. And I want to thank you for that. Because, see, one of the things is like, we live in a community that's money-oriented. So
Yes.
since we live in a community that's money-oriented, many people in the hood will do whatever to benefit. Meaning, if they have to act the way they normally don't act around their kids,
Sure.
but they'll act this way in front of other people. They know doing things for profit could get them confined,
Yeah.
but there's luxuries or choices in life that they choose to do, where the choices in life and the luxuries outweigh the fact that they won't be around their family. Because one of the true concepts is a man is nothing more than his family. So when you are confined,
Yes.
you can't be there to protect your family. You can't be there to love your family.
Yeah.
I just want people out here to remember that.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay?
And I want you to
You
stay
know.
there and stay there for a minute, because again, we're not saying that it is not rough, okay? We're not saying that everything is easy, and it especially isn't easy for people of color, black men in America. Everything is built to break you. Everything is built to separate you. Everything, we get it, okay? I don't want you to say, well, oh, you're not looking at what it is. Absolutely we are. We absolutely are. But the truth of it is that everything has a consequence. Okay? So, yes, rough upbringing, lack of opportunities. But at any time that you choose to do something that's out of a sphere that you can control, you open up yourselves to or situations that aren't necessarily of benefit to you. I'm just saying. And that's in anything. It's not just selling drugs. It's in misappropriating money. You see it in political arenas. You see it in police situations. I mean, I can give you some cases that we've been watching in the news about briberies accepting and misallocation of funds. And it's everywhere because everyone is trying to live. And so we just have to determine how to best do that. If it's just about your necessities, food, shelter, water, okay. But if it's all these other things because you want to keep up with the Joneses, she need a Coach bag, Chanel bag, she need some Gucci shoes. I mean, okay, stop.
Well, I just do want to say this.
Sure.
We lived in a state for over 2 years, a metropolis that I haven't been to in many years. But I'm going to assume there's at least 30 to 40,000 people that live in Flint. I'll just say that.
Okay.
We live in a state for over 2 years. That means if people turn their water on in their kitchen,
okay,
turn their water on in their bathroom, drink water out the water hose that they use to water their grass, they could get sick.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, and we collectively as a state, we have not grasped the reality of that. Meaning, just think if you stayed in Flint,
okay,
you got a McDonald's on this side of the street. We'll just say a suburb. I don't know all the suburbs. We'll just say like here. We'll call it Flint Heights.
okay,
Flint Heights is on this side of the street.
sure,
City of Flint is on this side.
sure,
You got a McDonald's over here, getting their money, getting their water from Flint Heights. You stay on this side of the street. You stay in the city of Flint. I mean, if you drink water on this side of the street, you get sick. I mean, if you drink water on that side of the street, you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
That pure reality has not resonated with the residents of the state of Michigan.
No,
you know
stay
why?
there.
Because if it did,
8 Mile, I totally
County,
disagree.
it would never happen.
Stay right there.
County, never happen.
Stay right there. I totally disagree. And the reason why I totally disagree is that we've had the conversations, the outward conversations. We just finished up court trials last year holding people accountable for the Legionnaires, holding people accountable for the poisons, bringing up the memos and the internal dialogues that showed that they knew the atrocities that were going on. That's why the employees of the state who worked there drank bottled water. They got water delivered to them. We know it, but we've turned a blind eye to it because it's surplus labor. These are people don't value residents of Flint. It's because it's
That's
Flint.
what I'm talking about.
It's Flint. You didn't say Birmingham. You didn't say Rochester Hills. You didn't say Farmington Hills. You didn't say Novi. You didn't say those quote-unquote affluent places where they put a value. It's an understood value. When you say Flint, oh, who are them people in Flint? A distressed
Ain't nobody
city.
moving to Flint. Ain't nobody making food source of income. Ain't nobody
That,
moving
there you go.
That's the point I'm saying.
There you go. And so it's not that they don't know. We have chosen to turn a blind eye because it's not us. See, people tend to become passionate about something when it's you. When it hits home, then everybody want to jump up in arms and everybody wants everybody to move into plan A and B. But when you see it happen to other people, no one even thinks about that. They don't think that that could be me. Oh, by the grace of God, that's not me.
It's just sad. Because
Absolutely.
the thing is, here in Detroit, right? Since the Bush administration, anything that has to do with compassion for the average human being, we have put it on nonprofit organizations. It's not the responsibility of the government. Okay? That started over 17 years ago, whereas now, when you come down to, they will put you in jail if you leave your dog out in 0 temperature.
Sure.
But our government will leave people who they know are homeless will still out there, but they'll let them go to jail. This is what I'm saying as far as over 2 years. There's a community, whereas if you take a bath, if you drink the water, if you drink the same water you want in your grass, you can get sick. We're not talking about just the government. We're talking about the residents of the state of Michigan really have not done that. Because you know what? If it was their community, there's over 80 counties in the state of Michigan. That's just one county.
Sure.
If it was 10 different counties where you couldn't drink the water, you couldn't take a bath and get sick, it would be an uproar. But it's that black city, though.
Of course.
Even though I'm colorblind, that's known as a black city. Ain't nobody done nothing about this. Residents of Detroit, residents of Highland Park, residents all around the state, residents of Grand Rapids, residents of Kalamazoo, residents of Benton Harbor, residents of Ferndale. Nobody has identified the fact that there's a city that if you drink the water, you will get sick.
Sure. Of course.
You know, so I really commend you because you were the first person 2 years ago to bring it to the detention, kept it to the detention. But when I'm about the residents of the state of Michigan, I'm not just talking about the leadership. I'm just not talking about the people who we vote for. I'm not even talking about the people that's appointed. I'm talking about man, woman, and child. When there's a celebrity who I see as a clown celebrity, Snoop Doggy Dogg, ain't got nothing to do with Flint, ain't got nothing to do with the state of Michigan, can come to the state of Michigan, get them some water, bottled water, and make a publicity out of it.
Sure.
I ain't feeling that.
Well, guess what? I mean, and so again, everyone, that's an example. And the truth is, if we have had an awareness of it for the last 2 years, that means it's been going on for 4 or 5. If it was just brought to our attention over the last 2 years, that means that they've been living in that condition 4, 5, 6 years. That's the truth of what it looks like. But again, we know what it is, but where do we go from here is what I'm talking about. So what are we so passionate about? Do we have passion? Because again, we all agree and everyone knows, to your point, everybody knows that Flint is still without proper water. And nothing has changed. We're going to take a break, everyone. We're coming up to the top of the hour. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to continue the conversation because what we know now causes us to do what? It has to be different in 2018, if you think so. We'll be right back.